What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of B.O.P. This is your boy AD, and we got a special guest, man, new co-host, man. We got Triple OD, Triple C Royal in the building, man. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Man, I'm blessed. I'm blessed, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Been a long time coming, man. I'm glad I'm here with you, bro.
yes, sir, man. So just want to let everybody know that the viewers and watchers, there is some changes, coming to B.O.P. It's all for the better, and it is going to be a lot more content coming, a lot more different platforms coming. Just stay tuned and be prepared for everything coming soon. Um,
Yes, sir.
there are different issues that we had to go through. Had a little hiatus with vacations and work and everything like that. That kind of held us back a little bit, but we back at it, man. We, bring you the content on a weekly basis, man. So just bear with us, man, and we got you, man. So after going since we're talking about it, man, let's go ahead and go into the Houston Texans. What this podcast is based off of, what we're talking about. Let's talk about the upcoming matchup, man.
That's right.
Jacksonville Jaguars, and as soon as we get done breaking down that matchup, man, we gonna talk about the previous games and go from there. And we'll touch back again with the Jaguars at the end to kind of cap it off, man. So Chris, man, what do you see about this game? What are your expectations for this upcoming game against the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Well, first, AD, I want to say thank you for having me again, man. I don't know if I said that.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me again, man. And uh, we're gonna try to raise these numbers up on BOP. Try to get a bunch of viewers on here, to everybody check things out and kind of, kind of, kind of strike up the flavor around here, man. Kind of add a little seasoning to this.
yes,
Um, the Jacksonville Jaguars, everybody, Jacksonville. We are playing a team, I believe, that we have beaten the last 8 times in a row.
yes, sir.
Um, I don't think we've lost to them the past 8 times we've seen them, and we've got a. It's a strange matchup because we're used to beating this team. We're used to manhandling them. We know them very well. We play them twice a year. We're finally getting into our division games, and I think this is kind of a different type of year.
Mm-hmm.
We are starting off. What is it? We've been 4-0, 0-4,
All three and one.
0-3, 0-3-1.
Yeah,
Felt like a loss in that first game against the Colts. I don't think nobody thinks that's a tie, right?
right.
Right.
Yeah,
So we count that as a loss, but it was a tie. We're going into this game uncharacteristically as the underdogs, I would have to say.
mm-hmm.
Just not speaking from a fan's perspective, but speaking from a football fan or a football perspective. Um, the Jags roster, the Jags team, the coaching staff has been putting their things together. A lot of people have made fun of the Jags for the things that they did as far as spending a bunch of money, signing these wide receivers and tight ends. They spent a bunch of cap money, and folks laughed at them and said how much money they were spending, but they actually turned out to be pretty good, and it actually turned out in their favor. Um, they're coming in kind of on a high horse. They beat some pretty good teams. They lost some close games. What is their record, AD?
They're 2-2 right now.
They're 2-2, and probably should be 3-1.
Yeah, should have been 3-1. That game they
Right.
had against the Commanders, they should have won that game, but they ended up
Yeah.
losing at the very end.
Right. So I think they're coming in pretty. They're pretty confident.
Yeah,
Um, right.
for sure.
The offense seems like it's clicking a lot better than it has over the past years, and I think that's a credit to their head coach Doug Peterson.
Yeah,
Um, I think he's given them the biggest jolt of energy and confidence, as far as even bigger than what the players have given. He's come up with some system. I've seen a couple plays where you didn't see that with the Jags over the years.
mhm,
Um, Trevor Lawrence is playing a lot better than he was when he was with Urban Myers. ATN is running the ball and getting the balls, holding on to it a lot more.
Okay.
The running game is improved, and I am impressed with the defense. The secondary has really stepped up. I've seen them pick off Matt Ryan a couple times in the last game that they played those guys.
Hmm.
And the linebacker core is playing pretty good. I think as far as the Texans go, if we're talking about our matchup this week, and cut me off if I'm getting long winded, AD, let me know.
Fine. You fine.
Yeah, yeah, let me know if you want to chime in, man, or cut in
Yeah.
and correct me or something or help me out. But I think that they found new wine over there.
Yeah, yeah. I think with the Jaguars, man, it's like the infusion of the youth with the
Right.
draft picks, with Devin Lloyd and Trayvon Walker on
Correct.
defense, the new draft picks with the, Trevor Lawrence, Etienne on offense, and then you had the veterans that they've added on both sides of the football, to kind of balance that team out. They added what's the cornerback's name on defense? I think his name is Shaq Griffin. A couple years ago,
Shaq Griffin.
well, Griffin, I think it's Shaq Griffin or Shaquille or something like that. Griffin.
Shaquille, yeah.
And then they also, added on offense. They added Brandon Sheriff on the offensive line. They added Evan Ingram at the tight end room, and
At
then
the tight end.
they added those receivers: Zay Jones, Marvin Jones, and Christian Kirk. And so they have a
Correct.
nice little trio of receivers. I think that Zay Jones is out this game for
Okay.
the Jaguars. But other than that, man, they've retooled that team with between veterans and drafting pretty damn good players. So I see them maturing into a team that they're on the right. I would say they're on the right timeline. I think
Right.
the team is a very very competitive team and is going to fight and battle every week. I mean, even the two losses, the Eagles lost, they were up 14-0 in that game. You know,
Right.
Philadelphia is one of the has the most talent of any team in the NFL on both
Probably the
sides.
best team in the league right
Yeah,
now,
they
right?
are. Yeah, at this point, they are the best team in the league the first
Right.
week of the season. So, and they gave them a run for the money. It was a one score
Mhm.
game, so they came
Had them
back
on the ropes.
right. So Jacksonville is not a team to be messed with or played with. Um, every week, the Houston Texans have come into the game with an advantage as far as like health. Um,
Right.
Starting with the Indianapolis Colts, they were down Shaq Leonard.
Hmm.
Then you go into the next week with the Broncos. They were missing Justin Simmons. Then you go
The
into
receiver went down.
yeah,
Right.
and I think it was I forgot the receiver that went down in that game. But then you go, I think Hamler didn't play that game. Then you go to the Chicago game where you had Pringle and Montgomery go down within the first quarter for the
And
Chicago
they
Bears,
and they still ran for
and
280 yards.
they still ran for 280 yards. And then you go to the Chargers game, who are without Keenan Allen, who without
Mm.
Joe Bosa, who without
Mm.
multiple players on both. The starting left tackle was gone for the Chargers. So the Texans
Correct.
have been blessed by the football gods as far as health, and especially coming into these different games. I'm trying to look and see now.
Well, we just have not taken advantage of it, AD.
Right.
That we were handed a lot of those situations by the football guards, and we didn't take advantage of it. We was right there in a lot of those games,
Yeah.
very competitive in those games, which should give a lot of Texas fans some hope.
Uh-huh.
Just going forward, knowing that Nick Casario is building a program that's going to compete, whether we win or not this year, we are going to compete.
Right.
And I think that should be applauded by a lot of Texans fans. I know everybody is grinding and hoping and wishing and praying for the win, but we are competing. Um, but I'll let you finish your thought about the health issue.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at it right now. They're losing their starting defensive tackle, Foloronso Fatukasi.
Oh
Who,
wow.
yeah, he's out this game with a quad injury. and then
Okay.
St. Jones is out, and then Caleb on Chason is out, and I think Cole Van Lannon is questionable.
Right.
So they're going to be kind of they're going to be missing some pieces on offense and defense. So that there's an advantage there. I mean, one
Okay.
less person on that defense, helps the Texans out, especially the offensive line and everything like that. But they still have Trayvon Walker. They still have Allen, Josh Allen. So they
Most
still
of the
have
workhorses.
yeah they still have Devin Lloyd. They who's probably going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year the way he's been playing. And so it's gonna be a tough matchup. But the Houston Texans have been kind of gifted, with the injury bug or whatever.
Sure. Now
And
saying that now, if we it's kind of weird you do say that. Looking at this week, Blake Cashman is out. I think he
right,
had a concussion.
yes,
I was really looking forward to him showing up again this week.
right,
He's out. Austin Decklis is out.
right,
Of course, with his year long injury so far.
uh huh,
It even shows that Jonathan Grenard is questionable,
uh
even
huh.
though I think he'll practice. I mean, he'll play.
Yeah,
It
he's
says
going.
he didn't practice on Wednesday or Thursday, but he was limited on Friday.
Right.
The one guy that I'm wondering what's going on with is Brevin Jordan.
So the reports coming out about Brevin Jordan is that it was a high ankle sprain.
Okay,
So usually high ankle sprains takes about three to 4 weeks to kind of heal, and he may be. I think they assumed that he was going to come back sooner than the four weeks for injury
hmm
reserve.
is he in a boot?
He was in the boot, I think, a week or so ago.
Okay,
But I don't think
so
he's in the boot anymore. They haven't reported him being in a boot recently. Um,
okay,
but I do think that Brevin Jordan is dealing with that high ankle sprain, and hopefully he'll be back, after the bye week for sure.
okay. And then the other guy that I was looking at too was Chris Moore.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what happened with him.
So I think what did it say about Chris Moore? What was it? A hip?
It says a hip injury
Yeah, I think it was a hip injury. I heard about it. He didn't practice all week, so
all week, so he's out.
he's out. So I think this is a prime opportunity,
To
you
see
know,
who?
to
Tyler
see
Johnson.
Tyler Johnson, man.
Who is he, man? Is he a ghost? Is he a figment of our imagination? Does he exist? Somebody said they spotted him on the field and he had number 14 on, but I didn't see him. Please help me. Somebody tell me if you see Tyler Johnson, tell him call me, man. We need to know if you want to play football this year. I
Right,
mean, come on, man. I know you picking up them checks on Tuesday.
man. Where are
Just
you? Where's
where
Marshall? Where's
are you, bro? Where are you? Where are you? Do you need a massage or something? What do you need? What's going on, bro? Okay, we need you, Tyler Johnson. I would love to see you. We need to see him even more now that Chris Moore is out
yeah, man?
and Brevin Jordan is out. Um, the funny thing that I think was pretty crazy was the fact that our guy, All Pro Farrell Brown,
It's gone.
he got hurt. He
He
got
got
hurt. And
hurt.
they sent him home.
They gave him that pink slip, say he gone.
Turn in your playbook, bro. When you go get that cast on your ankle, turn in your playbook. So they was done with him.
They was done with him, but he turned around and signed with the Cleveland Browns practice squad immediately.
That's
Hey,
that's better. That's even better for us, right?
yeah. So
That's even help us
hey,
lose some more games over there in Cleveland,
hey,
man.
I said it on the Twitter Spaces, Chris. I said I would have cut Pharaoh Brown when he had that
Yeah,
play when that crossing route against the I think the Chicago Bears and that long cross.
that
I said as slow as that was, the slowest crossing
was the
route
slowest crossing route I've ever seen in my life.
I would have cut you like that, brother. You gone, brother.
I
You
would have
can't
cut him as soon as he made it to the other side of the field.
so
Like, bro,
get to the
it took you
sideline.
too long to get over here. But turn in your pink slip, bro.
But
Turn in your pink slip. But we usually are healthy, AD.
yeah,
And we usually come into these games pretty healthy. And it's crazy because this whole season if we was clicking on all cylinders, if Pep and Mills was playing at the level that we all thought that they could be playing at and they should be playing at, this is the year that you could steal a lot of games. There's a lot of teams that are not as good as they promoted them to be. I mean, the
Yeah,
Denver Broncos was figured to be upper echelon team, and they
yeah.
scored 9 points last week or this
They
week.
they've been struggling to score every week.
It's ridiculous,
I don't
ain't
even
it?
think I don't even think they've scored 20 points in the game, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm sure you're right, man.
It's,
And I heard. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I heard Tom Brady said something like they asked him what's going on in the league, and he said, "Well, it's some pretty bad football being played,
not pretty
and
bad, real
it,
bad.
it's some real bad football going on, man. If any year was the year to get lucky and to have the football gods to help us, this would have been the year. I mean, you got the Colts that just look just horrible right now.
They look lost.
Um,
Denver also correct. I'm gonna correct myself. So Denver did score over 20. They scored 23 in Oakland. I mean, not Oakland.
mm,
Las Vegas in that Vegas
Las
game.
Vegas,
But Vegas is another team. That's another
right?
team that is disappointing.
Almost winless.
Yeah, they barely won that game against the Broncos, and I think that game
That's
was
right.
overtime, right? Or was it overtime?
I think it was.
Oh
I
no,
think
no,
it
no!
was
It was regulation. It was regulation, but it came down to the last minute.
a late field goal.
Yeah, yeah. So that Denver is
But
not
but
all.
the but it's like you say that there's a lot of disappointing teams. The surprise team so far in our division, it would be the Jags, right?
For sure,
Um,
for sure.
they were laughed at when they spent all that money, and now they're in prime position maybe to win this division
Yeah,
with the Titans.
and to be
So
honest, they're the
mhm,
team to beat. They're the
I
team to
think
beat.
so. I
I
think
think
so.
that Tennessee is to me still trying to find their way, and I think
Right.
they had some major injuries. I think that Traylon Burks got carted off the last game,
Oh wow.
and so then they lose Taylor Lewan for the season as well.
Mm,
So they're hit by the injury bug as well, and then I think that's why I say I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are kind of leading the division in that sense. And I think this is Jacksonville. I know this is our first division game, no, second division game, and I think this is it Jacksonville's?
Second, they beat the Colts.
They did okay, so it's both teams' second division game. So we got
Yeah.
one more to go.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just
Do you
it's
think? Do you think we have? Do you think we have a chance, AD, to beat them?
hey, there's always a chance.
Right.
Do we have a chance in hell? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the better question.
Is it a real chance or is it just one of those long distance chances
Is it a half
that?
court heave?
Yeah, man. Like
Um,
every any given Sunday type chance.
so what I will say is that division games are always unpredictable.
Right.
Division games are always highly competitive,
Right.
always hard fought, and this to me, Texans, they have that number. They
Right.
had it,
They do.
and I just, you hope for the best. You hope
Right.
you hope that they can come around and make some shake and make something happen. But in all honesty, I just feel like Jacksonville is a more complete team at this point.
Hmm.
And I feel like, Jacksonville is going to, they're going to run the ball like everybody else is run the ball against us.
Sure.
And they got a two-headed monster back there in the backfield in Etienne and James Robinson. So we're
Right.
going to see a kind of a heavy, I feel like, and to me, if I was the coach on the Jacksonville Jaguars, I would just turn around and hand that ball off to James Robinson as much as
Every play. Every play.
possible, especially as porous as the Texans, run defense has been, which has been, a big proponent of the losses, is that the defense hasn't been able to get the stops that they needed to
Right.
get. Poor linebacking play, poor defense,
Horrible linebacking
horrible
play.
linebacking play.
Oh my God, man! Talk about that for a minute,
So let's
JD,
talk about
please.
let's talk the
Me and you talked about it on Spaces a couple times. Please
the,
talk about Mr. Kursky, please.
the enigma that is Christian Kirksey,
Yes,
who is at this point in time, I don't think a 12 or 13-year veteran should be lost on the field or should be confused
yes.
on the field.
He's a good guy. First of all, he's a good guy, right?
Great guy, great
He's a great
person.
guy. He's a pretty damn good leader.
Yeah, he has all the
Um,
qualities. He looks
yes,
the part. You know, he got
yes,
got the big smile and
yes. Straight teeth and
charisma.
everything. Good teeth. He got the good teeth, man. And
got the
I mean
charisma. You
the
know,
I love it. Lovey Smith loves him.
yeah, he's a
That's
lovely.
his guy.
He's a
You know,
lovely.
he wears the green tag on the helmet,
Yeah.
but he dips that green tagged helmet in the wrong hole a little too much for my liking, man. I mean, like literally, it's almost like he plays himself into blocks.
Hmm.
He literally steps into the block in order to not make the tackle. And I don't know if this on purpose, if he's getting the wrong read, if his technique is bad. But him and Grugier Hill,
Yeah.
they don't stay true to their reads. And most of the time when you have a backside linebacker, right?
Hmm.
You've got a backside hole, you're supposed to slow play the hole. You're supposed to slow play your read because there could be a cutback. These guys are jumping into the front side gaps, the front side reads, and the linemen are hooking them on the ends. They're hooking them on the field on the run side, and the running backs are just cutting back. And it's just every play. I
Yep.
look at the play, and I know we had a game where we watched Justin Britt just look horrible on the field. I mean, it was a game, and God bless Justin Britt. I hope everything's fine with him
Hmm.
on a mental health standpoint. But he had a game where he just didn't play good at all. I
No,
mean,
it was
probably one of his worst games of his career. And
right.
last week, I say maybe the last 2 3 weeks, Christian Kursky has had that game, and I hope he can step it up. I hope he can do better in those situations. But man, you got to be more aggressive, but you also have to slow play your gaps if you're on the backside of those zone runs.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I'm worried about the linebacker play, the D line play. What else you got, AD?
So the hope is Christian Harris coming back, and hopefully we see him after the bye.
Yeah,
Um, hopefully there will be some changes on this team after the bye, as
right.
far as like who plays and who's not playing and everything like that. But the enigma that is Christian Kirksey and the enigma that is Kamu Grugier Hill has been, just bad play, just horrible linebacker play. I mean, just I said it on space before. There was one play where Blake Cashman came in the game and he looked at both Christian Kirksey and Kamu Grugier Hill for, the play, the signal.
Assistance.
You know,
Right,
what are we running?
right.
And Christian Kirksey gave him one signal, and Kamu Grugier Hill gave him another. And as soon as the ball was snapped, it looked like this is just a
They
mission, just a
they
mission.
all three went in different
All
directions.
went the wrong way. It just looked like a cluster, a cluster, So it's just like
It's
man,
embarrassing. It's
it,
truly embarrassing at this level.
right. And I would think that Christian Kirksey and Kamu being veterans would understand. So to me, every game there has been confusion points at the linebacker position. I don't want to keep harping
Correct.
on it, the negatives or whatever.
Right.
But we are going to talk about some positives with the team and the growth that
Correct.
we're seeing. But while we're reviewing the first quarter, so the first quarter of the season, so yeah, the linebackers have been porous. Man, the defensive line
Yeah.
has been getting no push, no penetration in the backfield at all. Between Roy Lopez, between Malik Collins, Michael Blumford, Kurt Heinisch, Thomas Booker, none of those rotation guys has really made an impact except one. I do want to take that back. Kurt Heinisch has
Kirk Hines. I was just looking him up.
yeah, Kurt Heinisch.
He's full practice.
Yeah, he's playing this game.
He's playing. Okay.
He played last game just sparingly. He didn't play
Right.
until the second half, but he was still coming off that injury. So I do
Sure.
expect to see a lot more of him this game. But he's been the most consistent, you know, rusher inside as far as penetrating in the run game and in the passing game. So hopefully he is a little spark to the Texans this week.
Hmm.
And on the offensive side of the ball, man, we gotta talk about that pigeon toe man,
That pigeon toe warrior, man.
that boy, man.
That boy.
He's
Let's
showing
the
out.
B.O.P. man. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it.
So let's talk about Damian Pierce, man. That man had a
Yes,
career
sir.
game. You know, I think
That's it.
he
He's
had
got to get a nickname pretty soon, huh?
they call him Demon. They call him
They
Demon.
call him Demon. He
Demon.
run like a demon,
He
bro.
run like a demon, man. So
He run like a demon.
he's a bright spot in this team. He has
Amen.
his ass off. He had a career game. You know, he had
Yes.
I think it was 131 yards rushing.
131, yes. For a
Had
rookie.
for a rookie, had the 75-yard touchdown.
Yes.
You know, didn't get caught. He didn't get
Didn't
caught.
get caught.
Didn't
Didn't
get
get caught, Chris. Hold on, man. Let's rewind that. Chris Roy said that David Pierce did not have breakaway speed, and Chris Roy was absolutely wrong. David Pierce has breakaway speed, and I'm going to stand on that. I was absolutely incorrect in
yeah,
my accession from college. I guess he didn't have a chance to show it, and he's showing it right now.
yeah,
He's
man.
showing the vision. He's showing the tenacity. He's
Hey, he's
he's
fighting, man.
he's fighting.
He's fighting
I
every play.
wish we had 10 more of them guys on the
Man,
team.
who you telling, man? And so,
Yeah,
speaking on him, man, another surprise was that fullback Troy Harrison, who
Troy
gave him a
Harrison.
big block to get that touchdown run. Troy Harrison
He
has been
was he was
excellent.
filling that hole every play. He was filling that hole, wasn't
Right,
he?
to me, he's a big addition. You know, we haven't seen a
Yes,
fullback in Houston work for
yes,
them in a long while. So
right. And the crazy thing about him, AD, he beat out two veterans, right?
yeah, he beat out I think it was
Quisenberry,
yeah Andy Janovic and Paul
Jen.
Kingsbury.
Yes, he beat those guys out, and
Mhm.
as a rookie, that's pretty hard to do. An undrafted free agent, you know,
Right.
and he came in and showed his worth, and he's actually showing that the coaches were right for making that decision. So he is a bright spot on the team. Not to move on, but another bright spot. I think I think Nico Collins is finally stepping up.
Yeah, I think he is starting to click with Nico. I know that people
Yes,
are down on Nico. I just think
yes,
he hasn't had the opportunities, and I kind of
correct,
put that on Pep Hamilton to kind of
right,
scheme Nico and kind of create plays for him. I think in the red zone, Nico should be used way more than he's been used.
right.
And, I think he's a big target, jump ball type of player.
Utilize them,
You got to
right?
utilize him, man, for
Yeah,
real. And I think that he is it's starting to click, man. I see something in Nico Collins. I know that people
right.
kind of are down on him, and I asked him,
And I don't really see why they down on him.
well, they're down on him because they expected him to take this gigantic leap.
I
I
got
mean,
you.
he only had like what 300-400 yards receiving last year, so it wasn't like he
Correct.
lit the world on fire his rookie year. He
Right,
didn't play. He didn't play mostly until the second half of the season anyway because of an injury.
right.
But looking at him this year, I mean, he hasn't played horrible. It's just that he hasn't had the opportunities, and you know, I
I don't
think
think the plays were drawn up for
they
him to
they they,
succeed.
they weren't because of course your primary players is going to be Brandon Cooks,
Right,
and I think David Mills is very very comfortable throwing to tight ends. You know,
correct.
up the seam and over the middle to the tight ends. So I think that he's very comfortable with them. I think that you have to figure out what works for Nico, and I think, like I
Right.
said, that's a Pep Hamilton issue more than it is a Nico Collins issue.
Mm,
And I think that eventually, by the end of the year, Nico Collins is going to come into form and kind of solidify himself as a future number two, number three receiver for the Houston Texans. So
Can you imagine this? A B.O.P. Production, and only speaking positive about Davis Mills. Hey, man, we're not even gonna speak no negative about Davis Mills today.
Nothing to talk about negative
That's
about
right.
Davis Mills, man. I think that at this point in time, we just got to let the season play out, and we
Play it out.
got to hope for the best, man. And we got
Wish
to
him the best. That's
yeah,
right.
we got to hope that that the Tyler
That's
Johnson
right.
aspect, maybe this is the key that unlocks the offense. Maybe
I mean, but you just need to let me know where he's at so I can
Tyler,
see him, bro.
we're gonna start
Somebody point him out on the television next week. I think he
so.
wears number 14,
Yeah,
right?
number 14, they spotted him, and then like the Waldo poster, man, they found him. He was in about one or two plays at the end of the game.
I will say this. I want to bring this up.
Go ahead.
Um, we watched. There was always a lot of debate about Davis Mills playing good, Davis Mills playing bad.
Uh-huh.
Um, let's see him for the whole 17 weeks. Should he be playing anymore? There was a moment in last week's game, and I wanted to ask you this, AD, because I wanted to clarify it. There was a moment in last week's game where the Houston Texans, I don't know who, probably offensive coordinator Pep, somebody told, what is our backup's name?
Kyle Allen.
Told Kyle Allen to put his helmet on and warm up.
Yeah.
How serious do you think that was? Did they have intentions on actually sitting Davis Mills, or do you think it was what was that situation? Because let's be honest, we all saw him warming up.
Yeah, and we saw
Was
him.
it an injury? It wasn't an injury or nothing, right?
No, it wasn't an injury. I think what happened is that the game was getting out of hand at that point in
Okay.
time. And I think that, this is not just us watching at home. It was, our Twitter family at the game, looking
Stood
down,
up.
and made a point on, in the middle of the game saying, hey, Kyle Allen is up, tossing the
Right.
ball around with his helmet on, like he's getting ready to get into the game. And, this is just my perspective. I think that if Damian Pierce doesn't break that 75-yard touchdown run, that that in following series we would have seen Kyle Allen come into the game,
I have to agree.
and I don't think that's a testament as far as like Davis Mills was playing bad. I just think that the game was getting out of hand at that
Maybe
point,
they was trying to
and
protect
they
him
were
at
trying.
home.
Yeah, I think they were trying to protect Davis Mills in the sense that okay, it's going towards the end of the second. I think
Right.
we
It
didn't
was
score
27. It was 27
20. I
nothing.
think it was 24,
Yeah, yeah.
24. Oh no, it was 21. I think it was 21 nothing at that point in time
21 nothing. Correct.
when he broke off the touchdown. I think that was in the first half, right?
I think it was at the very end of the first half.
Right. And so I think that if I think they would have been like, okay, because if we punt the ball and they go down and score again, now you're talking about 28 nothing or 24 nothing at that point in
Right.
time. Okay, this game is because it was 27-7 at half, right?
Correct. Correct.
I mean, it was already looking like a blowout game.
But I could see that. I could see where you're coming from. That they were trying to protect him
Right,
in front of the home crowd in a game that looks like it was slipping away.
right.
And if it was not, because I didn't see this play call the whole game up until this point, but if it was not for that halfback toss,
Hmm.
because that's what it was, right?
Yeah, it was a
When
toss.
Damon Pierce ran that
Yeah, it
touchdown.
was a toss with a pulling guard and Harrison coming in. Yeah,
Right. And if it was not for that call, that I would say Pep was having a bad first half his damn self. So I can't just put that on Mills and say it was Mills, because it was a bunch of plays where you're just like, come on, man. I know we're not running that. I know we're not running this.
right. And
And if it wasn't for that touchdown, I think you're right. I think we would have seen him, and that I think that would have brought some controversy that we going on burning me up now. Oh, that's my daughter, man. You gotta excuse me.
Houston, Texas, baby.
She crazy, man. She not even a Texas fan. She laugh at me every Sunday, bro. Dad, you still watching the Texans? I say yes, forever and a day. But yeah, they it's just to the point where I hated to see him even go have that guy start warming up.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it lit a fire. I don't know if that did or the touchdown did, but
I
it lit a
think
fire up
I
under
think
our quarterback.
I think both did. I think that it gave the team some energy. The touchdown
Right.
gave the team some energy, gave them some hope, and then halftime was soon after, and so now you get to go in the half and say, okay, let's reset everything. This is what went wrong. Let's
Mm,
find ways to kind of capitalize on what we see. And you saw them. To me, this was one of the first times that they made real. I feel like they made real adjustments in the second half.
mm. Right.
And
Right.
because that same play that they ran for the 75-yard touchdown, they ran that like three more times,
Three
and
more
it,
times.
it didn't score a touchdown, but them other 3 or 4 times they got good yardage on it. They got
Right.
5 or 6 yards on per carry on those type of plays, which
Right.
which kind of leads back to that. What was it? I think 3rd and 1
That
was.
bad 31 call.
Yeah, that no,
Oh,
fourth. It was 4th and 1. The on
it
the
was 4th and 1. It was
4th and 1. 4th and 1 call, man, with Davis
hand
Mills.
off to Burkhead.
It was it was supposed not a handoff. It was supposed to be like a little pass play to Rex,
Oh
but
yeah, it was a rollout. It was
it
supposed to be
was
a rollout, a
a
sprint out,
a quote unquote RPO.
RP.
So
It looked like a RP, a
right,
RRO, a railroad commission. Oh,
yeah.
what the hell that
You know,
was us, man.
I think that Pep, to me, Pep had a lot of the blame, and he gets a lot of the praise too for to help engineer that comeback, with Davis
Right.
Mills and Nico Collins on the loan. That was to me, and some have said they feel like that was Davis Mills' best sequence of passes. The big bomb, I think it was like 55-yard pass to
Back
Nico
to back.
Collins,
It
and
was some
then
good throws.
yeah, and then the next
He
throw,
actually stepped up. He actually slid over in the pocket and made the long throw to Nico, which I thought was great. And then
yeah.
when they threw the touchdown pass, he knew he was going to Cooks, but you can see where he was determined to make that a completion.
Yeah, he
And
threw it with conviction. He threw it with conviction,
right,
which
right,
is something that you want to see from Davis Mills, man. You want to
right.
see him play with conviction, play because
Confidence,
yeah, with confidence. This offense, and I don't know where I don't know if it was the pressure of being a starting quarterback or
correct.
the pressure of you know you know the and I want to say this, man, because I think that as much as they say they don't pay attention to what people say on Twitter and the social media
Right.
and the radio, there
You could hear it. You could hear it in the
you have to
comments.
be you have to be deaf, dumb, and blind to not know what
People
people are
talk about
saying.
you.
That people are talking about you, man. They
Right.
talk about you on sport on 610. They talk about
That's
you
right.
on 90. In the trenches with Indy and Sarge and all them. They talk about you. They talk about you with Sean Pendergast and Seth
Right.
Payne, Andrew Locker, and Clint Sterner really talks about you every day.
You're getting it from everywhere. Just
You're getting hit
your
everywhere.
mama calling you, talking about, did you hear what they said about you, baby?
Right. His mama on Twitter on everybody.
Mama.
Mama on Twitter. So I mean, you got to be deaf, dumb, or blind not to know that you're being talked about in a negative way
Sure.
on a weekly basis, especially on your play. Because in all honesty, man, he's not played, bad
He's
stat
not.
wise.
He hasn't played horrible.
He hasn't played horrible at all. It's just people expect.
Here's the thing about it, Ad.
Mhm.
He it's like he tightens up when the moment gets tight.
Yeah,
Like
and
if we remember the first three games, the Colts, the Broncos, right? If I'm right,
yeah, Colts, Broncos, and
and
Bears.
the Bears. He played pretty good throughout the game. I mean, he made the throws, some of the throws he should have made, some of the throws he didn't make, but it was on a very mm, average to above average level,
It was a level playing. He played on a level,
a
fair,
consistent bear,
consistent,
right?
consistent. Yeah. So
But
I,
then when the fourth quarter came, it's like those throws that he was making, he just didn't make. And I don't know if some of that was pep. So going back to that, AD, would you, if we had to give these guys grades for the first four
for
games,
yeah, the first 4 to
let's start with Davis Mills since he's the most polarizing guy. What
yeah.
would you give him on a grade A through F or whatever they call it?
I would give Davis Mills a C.
A
You know,
C.
yeah, I would give him a C because he's played okay. He hasn't played extremely you know you know outrageous, or he hasn't done something that I've never seen before. You
Talk
know,
about it.
so it's like he's played everything that he's done, because I know a lot of the chatter was the comeback, from
Right.
27 down, to 27, 24, whatever, and everything. Those 3 touchdowns, I'm like, okay, yeah, that is great, but I did see him do that last year.
That's right.
Like, I saw him come in the second half and bring the team back to make the score look a lot more respectable than what it was, you know, at the end of the game, before the comeback, whatever. So that didn't surprise me, because at this point in time, he's done that more than he's done anything else. You know,
So
he
you're
did that
correct.
he did that against the Titans last year.
He
He did
did.
that against the Rams last year.
Right.
He did that against the Seahawks last year,
Mm,
where we were getting blown out in the first half, and then you
mm.
come back. So these
So
are
we've seen that. We've seen that before.
right. So that's why I'm giving Davis Mills a C. What is
Okay.
your grade for Davis Mills?
I would completely agree with you. I would give him a C as well. And the only reason it would be a C is because I think he has room to improve.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been a failure,
Hmm.
and I think it's too early to call him a failure. I
Hmm.
think in some situations he has not stepped up to the plate, which is why I give him a C.
Hmm.
And the C also gives him room to improve to a B,
Yeah.
improve to an A,
Hmm.
and he has the time to do that. Not necessarily in wins, because I don't think that's important with the wins, but I do think that his improvement is important,
Hmm.
and it's important for him. It's important for our coaching staff. It's important to evaluate the players on the offense and the defense, and
Hmm.
it's important for Nick Casario because he's going to be faced with a big decision in a few months,
Yeah.
and it all relies on the direction that he goes in the draft and free agency.
Hmm.
All comes back to whether or not he believes he can trust Mr. Mills going forward. So I
Yeah.
give him a C with the room for improvement. And I don't want to bash the guy, but I don't want to over celebrate him either.
Yeah.
Uh, so I give him a C.
Hmm.
If we go to the next most polarizing, who would be the next most polarizing? Would you say Pep?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to go ahead and talk about the players? Let's
We
go.
can do that.
Let's go ahead and talk about the players, and we'll go to coaching staff last. Um,
Okay.
let's go in the running back room. I would give Damian
Wow.
Pierce. I would give him a B to B plus, because he's playing better than I expected, and he runs extremely hard. He hasn't had the opportunities. I keep saying that about these
Yeah.
players, about Nico Collins, about Damian Pierce, especially the first few games.
Right.
He did not get the carries or the opportunities that he should have gotten. You know, in the offense, and he's shown that if you give him the opportunities, he's gonna do what he can. He damn near
Right.
had 100 yards against the Bears, and he had 131 yards against the Chargers. And I expect him to run heavy and damn near get 100 yards against the Jacksonville Jaguars too.
It
Um,
makes sense. I
so
would
mhm.
so you give him a B
Yeah,
plus.
yeah.
Okay. Let me say this first. Everybody viewing the B.O.P podcast, man, go down in your comments and give your grades too. What do you
Hmm.
give your grades for your quarterback? What do you give your grades for your running back? Feel free to comment.
Hmm.
Please hit like and subscribe.
Hmm.
Get the subscribes up. Hit the like button, man. Interact with us. Get back with us. Check
Hmm.
us out, man, and please join us. We're gonna get it one of these days. We're gonna get it to where we have a live podcast where
Yeah,
we can interact with you guys.
it's
Coming
coming soon.
soon.
It's coming real soon.
So with that said, I've got to give Damon Pierce an A minus.
All right, all right, all right.
The old man C Royal has got to give him an A minus, man. And the reason why I give him an A minus is because I think I started out with him as a D by just downplaying who he was and who he could be, and he has surpassed all of my expectations for a fourth round draft pick
Yeah,
to lead the league. Is he leading the rookies in rushing?
I don't. I think he is, if I'm not
And
mistaken.
I know he's like second in as far as breaking tackles or something like that. But to come out of there with 134 yards on the ground as a rookie with a 75-yard run that totally changed the entire game, gave us the spark that we was looking for, ignited the offense, and throughout the whole first part of the season. The only reason it's a minus is because he had a couple fumbles.
Hmm.
I don't know if we lost any of those fumbles, but definitely had a couple fumbles, and I think he's focused on that. So I give him an A minus. Um, I don't even want to talk about the rest of the people in the running back room.
Yeah, they,
I don't
they,
want to talk about and most of that is just because of a preference. I prefer to. I wish we. I honestly wish Pep would give Darway a chance.
yeah,
Give him 5 touches, man, just to see what the kid can do. We
yeah,
know what Rex can do, and maybe they don't trust his playbook knowledge, but I would love to see him. Um, we talk bad about Rex, but Rex scored a touchdown.
yeah.
You know, and I
I
think
mean,
Levy even brought that up.
yeah, and
So
you know, I'm not gonna harp on the other guys, man.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just
definitely Demon. What's his name? Demon.
Demon, man,
Yeah, yeah.
Damon Pierce, man. So
He's showing up, showing out.
right, and I wanna go in this group. I want to give these next two groups. I want to give them as a group whole grade.
Okay,
On the wide receiver group, I would say give them, C minus, man. They've underperformed. Even Brandon Cooks,
right,
Nico Collins. Like I said, he just needs the opportunities. Uh,
right,
and I just think that it's hard to find because Chris Moore was your prominent receiver outside of those two, but where are the others? Where's the Philip Dorsett's? Hell, even Chris Conley, he got released and he's back with the Chiefs now. Like those, it's hard. Where's Tyler Johnson on the field? So it's
mm,
you want to see these players play. You want to see production. You want to see them, give something to the offense. And the receiver room itself has been a disappointment.
it has,
You
it
know.
has, and I'm with you. I'll even go a step further and give him a D minus.
Hmm.
I mean, Cooks is Cooks.
Hmm.
He's gonna do whatever he does, but he's even having an underwhelming type of year.
Hmm.
Um, Collins has got to step it up. I think he's breaking out of his shell, but if you want to categorize or grade the first 4 games, you've got to give a guy like Collins a D in what he's doing.
Hmm.
Um, and the rest of the guys are no shows.
Hmm.
I mean, they're complete no shows. And it's not like Nick Casario isn't trying. I mean, he came into this year drafting Mechie. He came into this year uh, signing, Devon Hamilton, who
Hmm.
got hurt and injured and had to cut. He also brought in, Davion Davis, who got hurt and he had to cut. He tried out Chris Conley and these guys.
Davion Davis is back on the
Is
practice
back.
squad. He's
Right.
back
That's
on
what
the
I was.
practice squad. Yeah.
I think he can be a surprise if he can get on the field.
Can get on the field off the practice squad. That's another weapon that I feel like is going to be productive.
Right.
But yeah, it's just a
It's a
lot of
D.
it's a lot of unprovenness. It's a lot of what the hell is going on, questions with the offense, with the receiver room, especially. So that those grades, the C minus, D minus, kind of fit appropriately. and I'm being
Right.
generous. I'm being generous at
Right.
this point, you know.
That's true.
And so, you know, the next group is the tight ends. I'm gonna just say this, man. It's a F minus,
Yeah. Yeah.
and,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm not even gonna go into the players. The tight end room right now has been a F, man. It's been a F.
Ditto. Ditto. That I don't even want to comment on it.
So you know,
I don't even want to comment on it.
but I do want to go to the offensive line. You know, I feel like
Yeah.
the offensive line, you know, they have improved to the point, you know, every
Probably
week.
the second best group in the. I don't know. Yeah, probably the second best group on the team.
Yeah, and I think that with the addition of Kenyon Green, AJ Can, you know, has really bolstered, you know,
Right.
the offense. And I think
Right.
that Kenyon Green had his first bad game. You know,
Okay.
he had his first bad game, man, and I think that that's okay. You know,
Right.
he's a rookie. You know, you got to let him have some room to grow. Got to give him some grace. I think that AJ Can has played better than what I thought he was going to do compared to what I've heard from people out of in Jacksonville say, you know, hey, he's not, you know, all what it's cracked up to be and stuff like that.
They bashed him in Jacksonville. They
Yeah,
really did.
they bashed him and said he was just another guy, you know, but he's
Right.
actually been kind of productive for the Texans. He has his flaws, you know, he's not
Right.
perfect, but he is a very much, you know, viable upgrade than what the hell we had before. And you know, with those two, and then you had Tunsil and Titus finally playing. You know, Titus finally playing his natural position, and Tunsil back from
Right.
injury, healthy, playing strong, and the addition of Scott Quisenberry at center has
It's a
really improved.
big surprise.
Has really improved the line. I think the line is solid. Yes, they have some flaws, but at the end of the day, they're giving Davis Mills time to throw the football. They're giving Davis Mills, you know, opportunities, you know, to make plays. And that's all you can really ask for the offensive line. They're creating holes for Damian Pierce.
Hmm.
Kenyon Green is one of the he's pulling his ass off on those
I,
full.
I, did you see the block? He was a. I don't know who that was. What game that was? Had to have been the Bears. I think it was the Bears game, and they did a spin move on Larry Tunsil,
And
and
he came
he.
back and knocked the hell out that
Oh
dude.
man, he popped the crap. I think that was Quinn who actually
Yeah.
did that. Robert Quinn, and he hit him so hard, it looked like Larry Tunsil looked at him like, "Damn." Like, damn, you doing it like that, youngster? Okay.
Yeah.
And he's playing above his age.
hmm
He's playing above his seniority. I
Yeah.
mean, he's a mature dude, man. I love the way he's playing out there.
hmm
And like you said, Quisenberry has been a very good surprise.
Yeah.
I thought we was gonna go into the dumpster after we lost Britt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Britt was playing very bad, but he was our leader on the offense. And once he went out, I felt like, what are we going to do now?
Right.
And Quisenberry stepped up, so that was real good. AJ Can, and like you said, Howard and Tunsil have stepped into their positions. Um, they gave up some big plays too in
Yeah.
the end of games. There was a few snaps that they gave that they could have concentrated a lot better on. So I give them a B. I
Yeah.
give them a B minus.
Yeah.
But
So I think we're in agreement on that. You
right,
know, and so let's go ahead and kind of quickly run through the defense because I think this is going to be
yeah,
easy.
we wrap it up. Yeah,
You know, the defense right now, defensive line, I'm gonna give them a C and only a C because of Jerry Hughes being as productive as he's been. Jerry
okay,
Hughes is not giving the sacks and being the pass rusher that nobody kind of saw him being at this
right.
point in his career. Defensive line would have got a worse grade from me, but right now they get a C. They just, you know,
They get a big fat F for me.
they get an F
They,
even with Jerry Hughes.
F for
Jerry
fuck
Hughes.
them. They get an F. They get an F for fuck. What the fuck are they doing? That's what they get. And I can do the lambada dance, whatever that dance is that boy do. Yeah, man. No, no. I tell you what. I give him an F, but I give Jerry Hughes a B.
There you go. Mhm.
I separate him from the rest of the group because let's be honest, bro. Gennard is underwhelming.
Yeah.
We expected him to be the 10 sack guy we was looking for, right?
Hmm.
And he steps into some. I don't know how many sacks he has, but he's not been there like I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be dominating like Chubb or like
Yeah.
older Von Miller or somebody that's. I thought he was going to be the new hype guy that we look towards that we can lean on and build around. And he's kind of underwhelmed me a little bit. Um, I'd rather just keep it positive. I
Yeah. I
don't want
mean,
to.
Cole Bernard has 1.5 sacks this year.
Yeah, that's
Um,
crazy.
Hughes has 4, and Rasheem
Yeah,
Green has 2.5. He's been a surprise.
he is.
And what's crazy is Derek Stingley and Petrie both have a sack. So
They got more than Roe Lopez.
yeah, Lopez has 0. So
What about what about the spin doctor? Has he got any?
Malik Collins, nothing,
Malik Collins.
nothing, man,
I
nothing.
was I was really hoping a lot from Malik Collins. He's always been a guy that I enjoy watching play. But they're the D line is the reason why we lose a lot of these games.
Hmm.
We're unable to stop the run.
Yeah.
I remember one game. I think it was the Colts. I think Jonathan Taylor. I think that when they came back and tied the game up, they must have ran the ball like 6, 7 times in a row.
Hmm.
And then on the last play, they threw it over there to Pitts for the
Yeah.
touchdown. And it just if we can't stop the run, we can't do nothing. If
No.
you can't get to the quarterback, you can't help out Derek Stingley now.
Mm-mm.
And you're leaving these young guys on the island,
Yeah.
and to transition to those guys, I think that you need some pass rush, you need some better D linemen, and I think that should be a focal point in free agency
Hmm.
and in the draft.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally, man.
Yeah.
And moving on to the linebackers, man.
Ooh,
Like you gave the D line F, I'm giving
yeah.
them linebackers a F, man.
F2, man. They get an
They
F2.
get the F, man. They
They
got
get
to go.
the F.
They got to go, man. They just been bad. They've been bad. We talked about it earlier how bad they've been. You know,
They need Christian Harris.
we need Christian Harris. Is he gonna play? We don't know. Hopefully, he's already come back off of designated to return from injury reserve. He practiced a few days this week. Let's just hope and see he's gonna come back after the bye and solidify it a little bit.
Just to
Um,
help out a little bit, huh?
just a little bit, man. And what are you got the F2 for him?
Yeah. They get the F bomb, man.
And
They
so
they know they get the F bomb. They know they've been playing like crap. They know they've been playing like shit with no toilet paper. Every week it's the same shit, different toilet, and they stink up the place. They
yeah.
can't tackle. They can't fill holes. They don't know how to stop the cutback. Um, they can't cover. Did I forget that?
Mm-mm,
They can't cover for shit. If
mm-mm.
they had a blanket out there, they couldn't cover nobody. They're missing their assignments. It looks like half of them are in zone, half of them in man on the same play. I don't know one running back in the NFL that couldn't go out the backfield to the flats and catch a pass on them. I don't think they've stopped a running back out of the backfield yet. So yeah, they get an F. They definitely get an FAD. And to go, I don't even want to talk about them no more either. But to go on to the next guys that I'm very, very happy with and very impressed, and I'm glad we get to finish the grades on the players on a positive note is the secondary. Man, I think we invested our draft assets
Mm-hmm.
into two guys that I think are foundational pieces for a long time on this team. I'm happy to have them. It's
Man,
Derek Stingley. You got the jersey. You know the player. You know the name. You know the lineage in his family, and he is stepping up. He is he's showing everybody why he was the number 3 pick.
mm-hmm.
Um, and he's got a running buddy, man. That Jalen Petrie. I don't know why, but for some reason, I think he should be the rookie of the year.
Yeah.
If he ends up with about four more picks or three more picks, I think that he's going to be in a situation where he's going to be in line for Rookie of the Year, and
Yeah.
it's such a good feeling to have a great safety and a great cornerback. Now,
Hmm.
if we can fill them other positions around them, I think we're in good status. I give them, and I like Steven Nelson. Don't let me forget about Steven Nelson.
He's been a big surprise, and Mr. Biles too. I'm sorry, Jonathan Owens.
Yes, Jonathan Biles, huh? I think Mr. Biles has played great. Jonathan Owens has done his thing. He's I think he's done what he can do, and he's very good at what he does. But Steven Nelson, man, he's a guy that Texas fans have to remember. Nick Casario tried to trade for James Bradbury from the
Yeah,
Giants,
he did.
and we had a trade in place, but Bradbury didn't want to sign a long term extension, so we
Mhm.
nixed the deal. And then they backdoored and went and found Steven Nelson. And Steven Nelson has been playing some NFL football
He
this
had,
year. He
he
has
had.
been sticking them boys on man coverage. He's been playing great in the zone. He steps up for the tackle. He helps in the run game, and
Hmm.
he has been I mean he's been a bright spot in the secondary, and I think it was a good thing. I think he could stick around for another year or two until
Hmm.
you have to go find another young cornerback.
Yeah.
Um, he allows you to fill other positions on this team.
Hmm.
Um,
He has been a solid player. He has been, I would say as advertised as a solid veteran cornerback, and
uh,
he's done better than what I expected. He's given us more than what the hell Terrence Mitchell gave us last year. And
Terrence
so,
Mitchell.
I want to give the group as a whole, with Jalen Petrie playing with his hair on fire, Derek Stingley
Yes,
playing damn good, and Jonathan Owens, the second Desmond King as well. The
Desmond King too.
Yeah, the secondary as a whole, I would give them a B.
Yeah,
Jonathan Owens leading the team in tackles. Petrie had a hell of a game. I think that was the Bears game with the two interceptions. Um, you know, uh,
one sack.
one sack. I think a forced fumble.
Yeah,
Yeah, he had a hell of a game, and I think that's just something on par with what he's capable of doing on a weekly basis.
that's
Um,
right.
Moving on from the secondary, we go to special teams. I would give special teams incomplete, a B.
Right,
Now let's say incomplete. I'll give them a B. They did okay. I know we missed a couple field goals
right.
here and there, and
Putting
but
has been tremendous.
yeah, I mean,
The,
yeah, the punter Cameron Johnson's been pretty
yeah.
damn good.
Do you think he makes a Pro Bowl?
Cameron Johnson, no,
Yeah. Not really.
not this year. I think he had a chance last year.
Yeah,
Um,
with all them inside the 20
right,
kills.
right.
Yeah.
But I think the punter and kicker end up being like a name thing more than anything.
Yeah, it is.
So
It is.
the AFC, the kicker is always Justin Tucker that gets the Pro Bowl,
Right.
regardless. You know, so I don't see him getting it, but I do see him being a damn good punter, and
Trayvon Smith, I don't think he's returned one damn kick, huh?
nah, he had a decent return I think earlier in the year, but
He got to have the best job in the NFL.
he just returned kicks, man. That's it.
And boy, fair catch. Fair catch.
Fair
As
catch. So
soon as they kick it, he fair catching it.
and so after special teams, man, let's talk about the coaches, man. Let's talk about Pep Hamilton. What's up?
Say, what's up, Texas fan?
What's up? We got a new one on. What's up, man? How you
Can I
doing?
get you in there? Here you go.
There you go. Hey,
Say, hey. Say, hey, man.
little chance, man.
Uh, go play, brother.
Mhm.
Go ahead. Yeah, so that's class of 2000,
30.
2035. That's class of 2035, man. We're gonna
Uh,
be the first round draft pick.
but talking, man, that jump right into the coaching staff, man. Let's talk about Lovie Smith. Let's talk about Pep Hamilton first, and then we can talk about Lovie.
Okay.
Um,
Silly. I'm
You know,
sorry, brother.
no, you good. Pep Hamilton, man. I think Pep Hamilton for me gets a C minus, man. I think that Pep
Yeah.
Hamilton, has really been kind of a disappointment as far as like the innovation that I thought that he would bring to the
Yes.
offense has been
Yes.
very, very lackluster.
Yes.
It's kind of been very, very predictable
It has.
what we're going to do on offense, and I'm hoping that this game he kind of turns it around and
Did he fool you with that flexed out play he did for the first 2 weeks?
first 3 weeks
Three weeks?
when he had the tackles out wide
Yeah.
and
Didn't do nothing with it.
yeah, just
Just flexed him out wide.
yeah, just and he does a lot of unbalanced line. We bring in
It's kind of like the baseball card in your wheel.
yeah yeah man, a little flicker you know
Yeah, it's just for show.
right make you
It's
think
just for
you're driving a motorbike but you're driving that
yeah, right.
bike so
Yeah, that's right, man. So I'm with you, brother. I actually give him an incomplete.
hmm
I hope to see something better than what he's been given so far.
yeah
Um, if not, I don't know how long you can wait to see if he can step it up. Especially if they go get a new quarterback. Are you going to do this again with the new quarterback? Does he get to blame the quarterback? Um, do you really want to send him in there with a new quarterback, even if it's Davis Mills again?
hmm
He's got to show something too. I think this is a make or break year. Um, I give him an incomplete just because I want to see more.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I agree with that too.
yeah.
He has to show more, especially after this bye week going in and looking at Lovey Smith, man. Lovey Smith, I think I would give Lovey Smith a C based on the fact that this team has played hard and has been competitive in every game. It's been a one, like 10. No, we haven't lost a game more than 10 points. Been in every game, and I think that the Texans are bound to turn that corner eventually to win a
Mm,
game. And I think that Lovey Smith, you know, has his part in that. But I do give Lovey Smith his criticism based on what he did on the defense and how the run defense has been putrid and hasn't really improved or shown anything, positive compared to last year. And him, I feel like him not coaching up the linebackers, which he is the linebackers coach. So
yeah,
he coaches the linebackers personally, and they have been as terrible as possible as they possibly could be. And I put a lot of that on him. I put a
right.
lot of that on
Personally,
Lovie Smith personally, and I think I'm gonna give him a C. Just because we've been competitive in these games, and he's been able to coach the team.
right.
Coach the team up. But he gets a C from me too.
And I go with you on that one too, man. I'll go with a C plus just because of the way that we've lost. We've had a tie. We lost by three. We lost. We've had some very close losses.
hmm
Um, so he has kept us in those games. I will say this about Lovey. His team loves to play for him, and he loves to coach his team.
hmm
And he's such a genuine guy.
hmm
He just seems like a genuine,
He is.
caring type of individual. Like somebody you would love to be part of your family members.
hmm
And sometimes as a fan who enjoys a good head coach and enjoys people that are genuine. Um, because we just had Bill O'Brien, who wasn't necessarily always genuine with us.
Asshole.
He was just an asshole for no reason. I mean, answering questions just with an asshole persona. And by Lovey being so genuine, it kind of saddens me each week that we lose because he comes to the podium looking more and more sad each week. Each week, it looks like in his eyes, he is just like, I don't know what else to tell you guys, man, but I'm trying my hardest. I'm not gonna throw nobody under the bus. but we just don't have the personnel.
Yeah,
I think you said this in the past. The Bills run the same defense that we run,
they do.
and they run it. They run it at a high notch in a good way.
Hmm.
They're very productive on their defense, but they have the personnel,
They have the horses, so the defensive scheme works.
right?
Is you have to have the personnel to execute. And I
Correct.
think that we don't have the personnel to execute. I just think that we're maybe a year or two away from getting that full, complete personnel to
Right.
pull off. But I don't know if Lovey will be here.
Well, that's the sad part. Oh,
That's the sad
that's
part
the
about
part
it.
that hurts, man, because he deserves to have those horses. And
Yeah,
if he had those horses right now, this would be the year that we could have surprised the whole NFL with the way the NFL is working out. But Lovey is just, you could tell that he wants to say, man, I just don't have the horses.
yeah.
We trying to stop the run. We're trying to. He don't have a D line. He don't have no meat in the middle. He don't have no gorillas in the
Mm-mm,
midst.
mm-mm.
He don't have no dragons on the edge.
Yeah.
He don't have them beasts at the middle linebacker. He
Hmm.
don't have nobody to eat up tackles, nobody to eat up blocks, and he's doing all this with the skeleton crew almost. I mean,
Hmm.
you got good pieces like we said. With secondary is nice. Um, you got Hughes and Green that's playing pretty good. Grenard shows up sometimes.
Hmm.
But let's be honest, our interior defensive line is giving up so much ass that it's almost unbelievable that Lovey has even kept us in games. So I feel for Lovey. I feel for what he goes through. I feel sorry for him every time he has to go to the podium and explain away these close losses. I hope Davis Mills can step up for Lovey because some of those games I think Davis Mills could have pulled out for Lovey, even though the defense and the wide receivers and Pep had their flaws. Um, but the thing about Lovey is he's earned the respect of all of his players, and they love playing for him. And I think we will turn it around.
Yeah, it's a matter of time, but I do see that the Texans turning it around, man. So
Right?
we gave down, we broken down, the first quarter
Sure.
of the season and everything like that. Probably gonna talk about it more on the next episode,
Right.
after the Jacksonville game. But speaking of the Jacksonville game, what key matchups do you really are looking forward to going into that game?
Okay. Well, I know we're running a little bit long, so I'll try to keep it kind of short. As far as the Jacksonville game, I think the key matchups for us is our defensive front seven
Hmm.
against the Jags offense.
Hmm.
I think that Lovey's secondary can handle Christian Kirk minus Zay Jones, with the other Jones there and Evan Ingram. I think they can handle those boys. What I want to see the key matchup being is can our front seven stop their run game?
Hmm.
If you stop their run game and force Trevor Lawrence to be the superhero, quote
Hmm.
unquote, I think you put them in a bad situation. And I think you put Trevor Lawrence in a situation that he don't necessarily need to be in because our secondary can pick him off with that elongated throw style that he has.
Hmm.
Um, I don't I don't know if we can stop the run game, but I'm not super impressed with their Jags offensive line either.
Hmm.
I just think that they have good running backs.
Yeah.
Um, so that matchup right there is key for us. If you flip it around on the offense, um, I trust our O line against anybody, really, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
Um, and I think we're going to get some running. I think we're going to run on these guys.
Hmm.
I think we can really run on these guys. I would love it if Pep would give Darway, what's his name, Iguodala.
I don't even just
On,
call him Darway, man.
yeah, bro. If if we could give Darway a few touches
Hmm.
just to see if he's got any juice in him, and kind of can relieve the Damon Pierce and relieve Rex Burkhead, I think we can run on these guys.
Yeah.
Um, and then what I think also is going to happen, I'm hoping to see if Davis Mills steps up to the pressure of rookie, second year player against second year player.
Mhm.
He's going to be looking across the field, across the sideline at Trevor Lawrence. National media is going to be pumping up as Trevor Lawrence versus Davis Mills.
Mhm.
Can Davis Mills step up to the any pressure, whether it's assumed pressure, personal pressure, or outside pressure? Can he deal with it? Come out and perform? Can his wide receivers help him out? But I do see us running the ball on them, and I want to know if we can stop their run. I think
Yeah.
that's where the game begins and ends right there.
Yes. All the game is always decided in the trenches.
It
And
does.
for me, I want to talk about the offensive line. I want to see if Kenny Green can bounce back from the bad game he had against, um, against the Chargers.
Yeah.
And then I want to see how does Tunsil and Titus handle the Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker combination on the edge. I want to see how that's handled. That's one of the matchups I want to see, and I want to see Derek Stingley follow Christian Kirk
Mm.
field, and I want to see.
Mm.
I'm thinking we've been waiting on it. Maybe this is the game that Christian. I mean, not Christian. That this is the game that Derek Stingley gets his first interception, man.
You're right.
I think that
Right.
Derek Stingley's, he had the little elbow brace on. This may,
Pull the JJ Watt out of him.
they pull a Jason on this man and link up and snag because they're going to force feed the ball to Christian Kirk,
Yeah.
especially with Zay Jones out. They're going to force feed it. They made an effort in the second half of that game in the Eagles to force feed that ball to Christian Kirk. He ended up with
Mm.
like 3 catches, like 60 something yards or something like that. But
Right.
he is their big play game breaker.
Correct.
And so I feel like they're going to find a way to try to get him. So if Derek Stingley is going to follow him, Derek Stingley needs to make a play, and that's I want to see that on Sunday. All in all, score predictions for this game, Chris.
Ooh, want me to call out a score? You know I'm you know I'm tanking for Bryce Young, right? You,
Hashtag
you,
the price is right.
yeah, roll Texans. Roll, not roll Tide, but roll Texas. Uh, you know to say that's why they say roll Tide, right? In Alabama,
Hmm.
because they can't spell elephant. but but I would say I like and I say that because I want to win all these games, but I don't mind. I mean, I'm at the point now that I don't. I'm looking at the draft next year already. Excuse me, Texas fans, for saying that. Forgive me for saying that. So maybe not let me say that. All right. So let's say this game right here. Our Texans are going to line up. This is an away game, right?
In Jacksonville.
In Jacksonville. Are they going to have the pool open?
It ain't raining, so they
It
might
ain't rain. It ain't rain. They got the pool open.
pull open.
Uh, are they gonna wear clown outfits this game? No
Nah,
clown.
no, no.
No clown outfits. Uh, I say this. I would say. I say it's gonna be a high scoring game.
Okay.
I don't think either team is gonna necessarily be able to stop the other team until the fourth quarter comes. So I want to say. I say 32-26. Texans win this week.
Oh wow.
I think the Texans win this week. And the reason I say that is because it is a division game.
Hmm.
We usually got these guys' number. Um, I think we can. I think when you say can we stop the run game, I'm not. I'm not scared of ATN and I'm not scared of Robinson.
Hmm.
I know they do good and all that, but individual athletes they don't scare me as much when you line them up against our guys.
Hmm.
Um, plus, Zay Jones is out, right?
Yeah.
Zay Jones is out. The only thing that worries me is will Doug Peterson out coach Lovie Smith?
Hmm.
Doug Peterson has a way of moving Christian Kirk around from the slot to the outside to running back position, and can get he if he knows better, he knows that his matchups are against our linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can match up some guys against our linebackers, I think that's going to be a big thing. Um, I'm not scared of the Jags. I guess I'm saying this for Spody and for DT. For DT, we not scared of you boys, man. We not worried about you Jacksonville Jaguars, man. Samantha, we not worried about you Jags. You know, we might be down and out. We might be have a tie on our record, but we ain't worried about the Jags. 32-26, Texas get the first victory of the season.
I'm glad you are positive, Chris. I'm glad that
I'm gonna be positive.
you
I
gotta be.
gotta be positive.
I'm going to take my realistic aspect to this game, and I'm going to
Oh,
say that this is not a high scoring game. This is going to be a mid scoring game, kind of what the teams have been doing all year. I see this being once again a one score game. I see
mm,
this being a 23-17
mm,
victory for the Jaguars. The Texans go to 0-4-1 going into the
mm.
with a lot of improvement. You've been in every game, everything like that, but I'm not gonna harp on it. I think it kind of speaks for itself. But I do see the Texans playing very, very hard and being in the game, and we may see some improvements. So I think Chris lost. We lost Chris, man. But I'm going to go ahead and end this episode. And I want to thank y'all for tuning in. I want to thank OG Triple Triple Chris Royal for coming in, man, and co-hosting with me today. And we'll holler at you next time, man. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Twitter handle at the bottom, mine as well, and Chris Royals as well. So, man, I'll holler at y'all, man. This has been another episode of B.O.P, man. Peace.